welcome back, everybody. It's not just insurance. I'm Jeff Safaya with Kevin Molnaric by my side. So, we met this guy, Nick Sakha, out in Nashville. We hung out with him for a little bit at the Allstate Mega Conference in Nashville. And man, this guy's a stud. We're really excited to talk to him. I mean, just someone who's super authentic, got a big social media following. So sometimes when you talk to influencers, you're like, do they really act like that behind the scenes? And Nick just had a huge smile on his face, was more than willing to talk to us. We got to connect, and we're really excited to have him on the show. He's out in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Nick, thanks so much. Tell us about yourself, man.
Well, that's the cool thing, by the way, real quick, jump in, is with social media. Like, I feel like I already met you before I met you, and I saw him, I was like, hey, what's that? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We haven't met in person before.
Yeah.
But, man, watching him get married and all of his postings, and you're doing a great job with it.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm honored to be here with you guys. I've known Kevin from afar, being I went to an ASA event back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Oh,
saw
wow.
Kevin speak. So I knew Kevin before Kevin ever knew me. I remember sending him that friend request, and then and then on Facebook and Instagram stories, like, you can see kind of who's paying attention to you. So when I started seeing Kevin, watching my stories, I was just like, oh, sweet, like, I'm getting his attention. He's pretty cool, So yeah, so I'm honored to be here with you guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, just a little bit about myself. I started as an agency owner 7 years ago. Before this, we just celebrated our 7 years, and before this, I was in banking for 7 years while I was getting my degree in business management, which I don't even use. It's just a wall decoration now. Didn't need it to do what we're doing, but yeah, I came from banking. Paid my dues there, learned a lot of things there that helped me with this agency owner kind of journey. And I knew going in that I was going to use social media. Like, when we were in training to become an agency owner, they were like, what are going to be your strategies? And I knew that internet leads was going to be a big thing, because that's what I was told, that you got to buy leads. They suck, but you just have to do it. But I also knew that I like posting. I like social media. It's fun for me. I like documenting my life as it is. And so I'm going to document every single part of this journey. And I know that I'll get referrals from it, because I listen to a lot of, like, Gary Vee, and so, like, I kind of had an idea of where the whole social media stuff was going to go. And so I can say that social media has been a big part of my agency ownership journey, whether that's finding my employees. Half of my team have come from social media in one way, shape, or form.
Interesting.
From referrals. The other half have come from regular hiring efforts, but a lot of referrals have come from it, just personal referrals. I just did some cool numbers yesterday.
Let's hear it.
For the last 2 years, social media and referrals and partnerships and and things like that attribute for over $500,000 of our business.
Wow.
So we write 500,000 plus in premium, just from that I can attribute to that. Now, that's not everything. We do a lot,
Yeah, right.
about 30% of the business we write, but it's really cool to, like, to see that,
And is most of that organic? Are you paying for a lot of those ads too on social media?
No. So that's a totally different category. I'm attributing that to, like, partnerships that I've attracted,
Gotcha.
personal referrals, social media, and this is just organic. Yeah,
Yeah.
organic. So
Wow. That's
not
so
only
great.
post a lot myself, but I encourage my team to do it as well. Like, let them build a little bit of a brand. But I don't force it on them, but I just highly encourage it,
Yeah.
like, you're missing out on free business.
Well, you see, now you can share the fruits of your labor and give them real numbers to it. I mean, you tell your team you just wrote 500,000 off of that.
Keep
And
doing
that's
it.
gotta
It's
get
working.
some
Yeah.
traction out of them too. So that's
Right.
awesome. But hey, I'd love to go back, if you wouldn't mind, just before, like, even like in high school and before, like, how were you developed into who you are today? Because you clearly are a leader in the industry. And, it's just always fun to listen to and learn about your background, whether you were in sports or you had some mentors or, maybe what helped shape you.
Yeah, what helped shape me, I going back to when I think of my upbringing, my dad had a lot of kids. My dad has 9 kids. Um,
Wow.
Wow.
and so, we always, like, I was raised with a lot of love, and I'm super grateful for that. Always had everything we needed. We had the clothes on our back, the food on our table, the roof over our head, and we were raised with a lot of love. Um, and but we also weren't spoiled by any means, we didn't get everything we needed, and so I was a big gamer. I loved video games, but at some point I realized, like, I got to build this real life character and not this, fictional character, um, like RPGs and stuff like that. Um, and so as soon as I was old enough to start working, I did. Like,
Hmm.
I would work on my neighbor's yard. I would go to my uncle's jewelry shop and work for $5 a day. I worked at my cousin's pizza shop for free. We would take our skateboards and our scooters and we'd go hang up the
Yeah.
discounts and the promos on people on apartment complexes. And I did that for free. Uh, what else? As soon as I was old enough, you could choose to work in the cafeteria in your high school, for $30 a week. You know what I mean? You're making $5 an hour. You're only working that period. So I
Right.
was making like $30 a week. And that was cool. Like, that was, that was like my first taste of, like, just trying to earn money. I wasn't athletic. The only sport I played in high school was I did basketball and intramurals, but never made the team. All my friends played basketball, so I was just there for the tryouts,
Hmm.
the intramural summer, um, until they picked the team, and I already knew I wasn't going to get picked. Then I tried playing football one season. I wasn't good, and then as soon as I skipped the practice one time, I remember I went to my locker. The locker was cleared out. So I was
Oh,
like, all right,
no.
cool. Pretty sure they wouldn't do that if I was good. Uh, and then the only sport I played legitimately was volleyball, and that was fun. Volleyball's fun.
Yeah.
Um, but I wasn't athletic. So, like I said, as soon as I was old enough to start working, I did. Got a job at Subway. And then from Subway, got my first sales job selling sunglasses at a store called Sunglass Hut. Um, and that one, that was cool. And then just did a few network marketing businesses, failed at all of them. Uh, Amway,
You failed your
prepaid
way
legal,
forward, right?
Yeah.
huh?
You failed your way forward.
Yeah, Amway, prepaid legal. What was another one?
All the multi-level marketing companies.
Yeah. So I didn't, quite make it at those, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I did Forex investing for a little bit, like just currency
Oh, yeah.
trading. Lost some money there. uh, and so I was always just trying stuff, and then got into banking. Sucked at banking for the first couple years too, until one of my friends who was moving on up, like just moving on up. His name is Will Duran. He was an Allstate agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He exited recently, and he always told me, he's like, you just need to focus on one thing, because if you're everywhere. You're a college student, you're doing foreign currency trading, you're selling Amway products, and you're not hitting your minimums in banking. And so at that point, I kind of just condensed everything, hyper focused in on finishing school and being the best banker I could be. And then I finally started to advance and grow and get promotions. And then I just always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I quit banking after I got my degree with really no plan. And then just fumbled and fumbled and fumbled until Will, who was also in banking, opened up an Allstate agency and said,
Okay.
you should take your 401k and open up an agency with it. And then that's what I did. So,
Wow.
um, I didn't really know how to manage people, or I knew how to sell, but I didn't know how to manage people or own a real business, not like a network marketing one. and and now I guess that's not. I don't want to disrespect network marketing. I think that's a real business. It's just not. It's like brick and mortar like this.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But but I just a lot of faith as well, and that's kind of my upbringing.
Well, it definitely
Yeah.
teaches you a lot. I mean, you get rejected a lot, and you
Yeah.
gotta, you know, produce your own leads, right? I tested it out a little bit, and I failed a little bit, but probably not as much as you. I didn't like go that forward into it, but there definitely is some transitional skills, and I'm sure it's helped you at your agency.
I think the self-development. I always say I used to listen to John Maxwell CDs while delivering pizzas. I delivered
Mhm.
pizzas for a little bit too. Um, and so I'm over here listening to sales and leadership CDs while delivering pizzas, you know,
Yeah.
and I turned my car into a university. So like that really kind of helped me. So yeah, I just always knew I wanted to be a business owner though. I just wasn't quite sure how. I was like,
Right.
I don't know how, but I know this is what I want. So
I think that people underestimate the power of like you calling your, automobile university. That started with like Zig Ziglar, like
Yeah, and
back in the
Brian
day,
Tracy.
and
Yeah.
yeah, Brian Tracy and all these guys. And it's like, man, so many people that we talk to, that I talk to, that are successful now, the exact same thing. It's like spending that extra moments of learning, and it stays, it sticks. You might not retain that episode at that one time, but eventually, like it sticks with you. And I totally agree. Like, I mean, that in my car is constantly like podcasts
Oh,
and
you
learning did
are.
the exact same thing. And it's ironic, but actually, I'm going to be going to John Maxwell's house for dinner for a meeting coming up soon. And how, but Maxwell's awesome. Like, love his stuff.
Nick, Kevin didn't
yep.
invite me though, so I'm a little
No.
salty about it. No, I'm
Yeah.
with you though, man. Like Kevin got me into auto books at an early age, and I'm not a good reader, and so I loved it. And I was just thinking, like, how could I get ahead of the game? I wasn't the most athletic growing up, and I also wasn't the smartest. So I'm like, how can I get that extra level while my friends are listening to Kanye West and Eminem and these other, music? Not saying I don't love music, I do, but how can I just fit in some podcasts and audible books, and that helps so much. It just
Mm.
sticks in your brain and you remember stuff the more you
Yeah.
listen.
100%. I feel like, just like you said, you might not realize how it's impacting you in the moment, especially with your circumstances. Like,
Yeah.
who am I leading right now? Like, I'm not a leader. I'm not leading anybody. I'm just leading this pizza to its next house, But,
Right.
uh, but it all like kind of just, that compound effect.
Right.
Darren
Success
Hardy.
Magazine. They used to come with these CDs.
Oh,
I don't know if you
yeah.
guys remember that.
Darren
But
Hardy.
yeah, Darren Hardy used to play those.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got to give a shout out to Jim Rohn. Like he's my favorite.
Oh
Jim
yeah.
Rohn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Rohn. He's just the OG of this game,
Right. And you hear a lot of the stuff. I mean, there are some similarities, but I think it just helps to reiterate that all the top people are kind of doing something very similar. And it's like the first thing it starts with is like they've got vision and they're positive and they wake up and they want to get after it.
Yeah.
But they can see, where they want to go, and they can see that it's possible instead of, I feel like, if somebody doesn't listen to all that positivity in the growth mindset and around people that are in a place where they'd like to be at, is they just seem to think of how they can't do it versus how they can.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's I
So
don't know, it's
true.
just always been a big part of my life too. And I think and that's what I was trying to find out is like, where's the turning point? Because we talked to a lot of people and they're like, I mean, we were talking to Andrew yesterday.
Oh, Filer.
Yeah. Andrew, and he's just like, I really wasn't a good student, and I really wasn't this. But then there's always that thing, that moment where you can kind of feel it twist.
And it's funny, video games was his
So-
twist.
Was his, yeah.
Yeah, we're like video
Yeah.
games, huh?
But that's
Yeah.
really cool.
No, absolutely. I was a bad student as well. I I was so bad. Like for me, especially like I always considered myself slow. And because the teachers would be on step 7 of this equation
Yep.
or this problem, and I'm still on step 2,
Oh.
and I don't, and everyone else seems to be getting it, but I'm still stuck on part 2.
Yep.
And then I get so discouraged and I don't want to hold the class back. So I just
Yeah.
would just wait, and I would build relationships with every single person in the class. I would get real tight with everybody. And then when we had a break or after the class or before the class, like I would ask them to try and help me figure it out, or I'd, copy from them. Like I would do something,
Right.
like, but I knew that I wasn't picking up on this stuff. I'm still pretty slow. Like I just out put in the time than people. Like, you know what I mean? I've gotten better, but I just know that what might take me 3 hours and it takes you 20 minutes, I might have to put in more time to figure some of that
And
stuff
it's good you
out.
know that. You got to know it. I remember I used to kind of deny it. I'd be like, oh, well, like I just wasn't listening. And sometimes I wasn't. But yeah, man, computer class, reading class, everything. You're slower. And then it's like, wait, now I'm just going to give up. Now I'm just so
I just,
annoyed. So you don't learn
I'm,
anything. Your buddy
I'm so
Andrew
far,
and
man.
Rebecca are your only like hope, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For relationships, you can get through maybe not like a big school, but UNLV, like you can get through school with relationships. I know it sounds crazy, but like you can get through school based on the people that you know. It's like who you know.
Yeah.
But
So
ultimately, what you did is you found the way to make it work. Instead of saying, "I can't, I can't do this, it's not working," is you found the way, and that's what entrepreneurs do. Is because there's no one else that you can besides mentors and friends that are in the business, right? But in your agency, in the SOC agency, there's no one to turn to. It's you, and so that's the great thing about the entrepreneurship and what you're doing is you're doing that same thing now and you're figuring out because everybody knows. Like if you're an Allstate agent, they know who you are. Like you're doing
yeah,
such great things and you got to be so proud of yourself just to see from where you came from and having maybe even some limiting beliefs and to know where you are now is just awesome.
And I'm surprised,
Like
real
it's
quick, Nick,
phenomenal.
that you were listening to that stuff while you were delivering pizza. I would have thought, like, you're kind of like, jamming out to a bunch of music, maybe like smoking weed or something, doing something like that. And then you found a mentor, but it sounded like you always wanted more. It just,
yes,
you finally got a good opportunity.
yeah. And I was still jamming out and smoking weed, like I'll be honest.
I was
But
figuring you might have said that too.
you know, but uh, but and that's the part I've been trying to figure that part out. Like, is it just where does that drive come from? And I don't know if it's just wired. I just because it's like I know that I'm pretty different than all my siblings. Um, Even though we all had the same circumstances, it's like why was it that some things impacted me different?
Yeah.
Uh, like being told no, like we can't afford that. When I needed a haircut,
Ugh,
my mom's like, no, you just got one a month ago, and I'm just like, yeah,
isn't
a
it
month
time?
ago. Like you see this, I need a freaking
My hair grows
haircut.
fast, Mom.
You know, like
Yeah.
I'm ugly. I gotta like the only way I'm gonna have a standing chance is if I get
Yeah.
a fresh cut.
Don't you
Uh,
want me to have a girlfriend?
you know, um, and then like going to the movies and or asking, like going to the movies with your friends and asking my mom for money, and she's like, well, go bring me my purse. And then I bring her the purse, and like, she'll just say like, go grab $5 out of my purse. And so I go grab $5, and then I go to the movies and all my friends have like 20,
Yeah.
and I'm like, damn, like, and instead of like being salty about that, I was just like, I gotta freaking figure this out. Like I gotta make something happen,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I always just
Great.
till this day, I feel like I think I got this mindset from The Rock where he's like, I put my back against the wall because someone's coming to take it all away from me,
Mm.
Like someone's coming to, like, I guess his mom got evicted from their apartment in Hawaii, and so it's like someone's coming to take it all away, and now that we've got here, it's like cool, this is awesome, but someone's coming to take it away. We gotta keep going. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So,
Interesting.
um,
Well,
you
that's
know,
great. Well, hey, let's dive into your agency. So you open the agency, and is it just you? How many did you have to start, and
Yeah,
how'd you grow it so
we know a
quickly?
little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a couple episodes of your podcast. By the way, for our listeners, he also has an awesome podcast that you need to check out. But as Kevin said, like, did you buy a book? Did you start scratch? How many
Yeah.
employees?
Yeah, we started scratch. Started scratch in November 2016. We just celebrated our 7 years, but in the beginning, I started scratch. I needed to start with 2 employees. I reached out to a girl that I hired in banking, or I helped co-hire in banking. I took her from banking to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we started with 2 staff. I had to let go of my first person after a month. That was really hard because she was older. Um,
Yeah.
and then from there, just we started scratch. We grew to about 5 million in less than 5 years,
Which is a
which
phenomenal
was like
feat. That's
which was
phenomenal.
a that was like my goal. Like I wrote it on this little piece of paper and I kept it in my wallet. Like and we'll be a $5 million agency within 5 years, and then we did that, and then from there, I
Real
I
quick,
had an
could you ever
opportunity.
imagine like if you wrote 3 million or if you wrote seven? You know what I mean? It's just that you do what your mind can, can perceive is what you can achieve. And how
Yeah,
crazy that, like, probably nearly right on the money as you hit it.
yeah,
And that's a big deal. And those that are in insurance, they know you do 5 million, you go from 0 to 5 million in 5 years. You're writing a lot of business because you got deals falling off and
Big time.
retention, and
yeah.
that's fantastic.
Um, I was very resourceful with I was buying leads and learning the outbound activity game. Um, and so I bought a good amount of leads because that's what I was told to do. And we built processes. I invested in events. I went to ASA, I went to
Mm-hmm.
CWC, I
Yeah.
went to all these things, and then I started posting content, and then people started finding me, and then and so we grew 5 million in 5 years. Uh, um, at the 5 million mark, we bought a book, a $5 million book that took us to 10 million. Um, and then we continued to grow. We started writing more business than we've ever written. Um, and then just this year in July, or earlier this year, they asked me if I wanted to expand and buy an agency in Oregon. I had never even stepped foot in Oregon. It's not the place that I was like that I saw myself, opening an agency in, and so I rejected it at first, but then they allowed me to kind of merge everything under one roof here in Vegas. We had 3 separate offices in Vegas, so they allowed us to merge it all under one roof.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
the location, not the books,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, which is fine. And then
That's a
uh,
better way to go. Yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
can piece it
and then
off, and that's perfect.
we moved forward and we got this Oregon book, and so yeah, fast forward now we're at where we just eclipsed 18 million in written, written, and some of them have been purchased. Um, and yeah, and we're cranking it. We're just getting
Great
started,
for you.
I feel like I haven't even like really scratched the surface yet, but it's
Yeah,
an awesome place where I'm ready to keep building and diversifying and helping other agents, like the help that I've received from people,
yeah.
so on and so forth.
That's really cool. So, how many staff do you have now?
We're short staffed right now. We're hiring, but I want to say we're at 19 or 20 right now. But we're in a big hiring crunch right now to bring
Hmm.
on at least 4 more agents.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm sure you got your ideal traits ad out there.
Yeah, yeah. Ideal Traits is awesome, man. I can't believe it took me this long.
We can't either. No,
Yeah.
something you did that's really cool is you made, we talked about this, and when I told you to do it, I didn't think you were going to make this cool video. Basically, with Ideal Traits, Kevin, our new features where you can have a career page go out to candidates that they get directed to, and they can actually see a video of your agency that you can talk about and get your own and talk about the benefits of working at the Sakha agency or whatever agency you want people to work for, right? And so your video, super professional, also like it was very authentic,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. It had a lot of your staff come in and talk about different things that they like about the agency. So I think that was cool that you did, and not a lot of agents do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I this was like the first of its kind. I definitely want to make it show. I felt like we did a good job of showing our fun work environment, but
Yeah,
I want to make it show more of our fun work environment. So I'm going to keep on
right.
working at that to make it even better.
And it's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, of course, when we think of insurance, the typical person out, "Oh, I'm not going to do insurance. It's kind
Yeah.
of boring." But so it's not an overnight thing, but you've definitely been able to, I mean, just with your social media following alone. I mean, you are an insurance agent at the end of the day, and you got 10,000 followers, right? So you are changing the landscape as we need to be doing, getting the new generations into insurance. So tell us a little bit about your tactics and how you've been able to do that.
Yeah, so at first I always heard Gary Vee say document, don't create. And so when I went to Chicago for Allstate training, I remember bringing this big DSLR camera and just kind of, like videography is fun for me. Like it was fun for me editing videos and slapping a cool music video, like music sound behind it. And, I like to document travels and all that stuff. But I just remember documenting some of it and I built a lot of anticipation. You see, the problem is some people they open up agencies or they start a new career and they start something and they don't make it a big deal. And so I think it's a problem because if you can't get excited about it, what's going to get other people excited
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
And so when you think about let's use the Kardashians or The Rock as an example, I think they're two marketing geniuses or gurus or whatever, whatever. I'm not sure, maybe not the Kardashians, but like how their story and how they
Yeah,
got,
for
whatever.
sure.
But they document their entire lives. So they have this keeping up with Kardashians, and then they start talking about like the next business they're going to do or a product. And then next thing you know, it launches, and then there's all the support that backs it. So what I did was I built anticipation for opening my agency. So I dropped little teasers. I made highlight videos, and I would say like November 1st, November 1st, November 1st. And I would show like the process of getting computers, the process of this, the process of that, my name going up on the door, me hanging up my Allstate signage, my name going up on the door. I made it a big deal. Like if we wrote 100 items or 60 items, like I talked about it, and I shared funny stuff, memes, inspiration, just stuff that resonates with me, and I just did it consistently. My goal was to be in your face because I know everyone's on this device anyways,
Right.
but people are going to consume. And I was somebody said a long time ago, like be a producer of content, not a consumer of content. So
Yeah.
I just try to create social media real estate on these devices, and so that way people can think about me over
Mm-hmm.
somebody at State Farm down the street. Um, and then so I make a big deal. I highlight every little success. So if we finished, I would find something, and who does a really good job of that is The Rock. I got that from him a couple years ago, where he would, if he's promoting a movie, right, he would say, he would find some statistic where the movie's doing good, and then he would highlight that and talk about it. So, for instance, he would say, "I want to let's do a Terramana toast, his tequila. I want to do a Terramana toast for all of you guys for making Jumanji the #1 family movie of the year. It's not the #1 movie;
Mm.
it's the #1 family movie of the year, right?"
Right.
So finding something, and I just did a lot of that with my agency where I find something where we crushed it, and then I'll just talk about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we we haven't, we just started crushing Nevada. We've never been #1 until like the last 2 years. But before that, trust me, if my name was on top 10 in anything, like I was like, we're top 10,
Right.
like I would just make a big deal out of it. And then same with my staff. This trickled over to my staff where I would tell them it would be a part of our like onboarding process where I'm like, hey, look, you don't have to do social media, but Facebook's a ginormous tool that you can use to get referrals in quotes. Um, so what happens when somebody starts a new job? It's just, hey guys, hit me up for a quote. I work for Allstate now. Well, that's not really going to hit, right? But if they say, for some reason, people love when people pass tests. I don't know why. If you say like I'm having a baby, I just got married, or I passed the test, like it's
Yeah.
gonna be up in the same hemisphere of like people liking it, right? I just passed my real estate test. So I'll tell a new hire, say, hey, I want you to take a picture with like your past results, make a selfie or
Yep.
whatever, and just say, like,
Right.
guys, I'm so grateful and excited
Smart.
to announce that I just passed my property and casualty insurance exam. Soon I'll be able to help you with all your insurance
Hmm.
needs. Everyone's gonna be like, congrats, girl, you're crushing it. I'm so excited for this news.
Right.
Like people like everyone's gonna heart it. And then when you start in my agency, I want you to say, um, guys, I'm so grateful and excited to announce that I just received an opportunity to work for the fastest growing Allstate insurance agency. I would
Right.
always say fastest growing because we weren't top ranked yet, so I'm like, we're the fastest growing, right?
Yeah.
I just got accepted to work for the fastest growing Allstate agency in Nevada. I would love the opportunity to get you a better deal on your insurance. And best case scenario, I get you something better. Worst case scenario, you give me practice. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
So this gets them a whole, it might be 12 people, might be
Yeah.
only 12 people, but it plants the seed that I'm doing insurance now. You should think about me when it comes to insurance. And then people
That's
don't trust you
So
the first
smart.
6 months, so they need to stick around for at least
yeah.
6 months, and that's when the referrals start coming in. And so
That's
that's what we've done.
yeah, that's so good. And great content for those. And I'm sure there's so many that are listening that they'll listen to this podcast and they say, like, I haven't started and I don't know where to start. And they just get, kind of
Wha-
bogged
What?
down into like, where do I even start? And you just gave great ideas.
Yeah.
But you have to start. You got to take that first step in doing it. And how easy for each new employee for sure has got to do it because they have a whole new network of people that maybe you didn't reach before. And I love the way you promoted your agency too, just building up that hype. But when you first started, the first thing you posted, you had nothing either. You didn't have any followers, you know? But and then you look at it now. So the compounding effect of what you're doing, you can start today
Yeah.
is really the message. Like you can.
Well,
Yeah.
the life of a new agent, it's an emotional roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
right? To start out, whether you're buying a book or starting scratch, a lot of expenses. And that's why like recruiting or getting leads and all this stuff, some agents are either full throttle, some agents are like in between of like, what do I do? Or like, nope, I'm going to do a tight budget, you know? So, I mean, it just sounds like you had so many good tactics to start that were actually free. I mean,
Free.
recording yourself is free,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and having them post about things are free. I haven't even totaled up any like money that he spent, and he
Yeah.
was able to get a bunch of leads from that.
Yeah. That was my mindset at first. Like I have to hit these numbers that the goals and the minimums, not the minimums, but like, it was like tiered out. And so if you didn't hit the first tier, you're going to leave money on the table. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, what better business than to get, like personal referrals to this day close at like 30%.
Yeah,
It's a lot more than internet leads. Internet leads is anywhere from 8 to maybe 15%,
isn't that
18%,
pretty good though?
20%.
Well, that'd
know?
be fantastic.
That I thought it's like
And some of
5%.
them live transfers go for what? I mean, $75 for a live
Yeah,
transfer.
Yeah, it
You
depends on
know,
the state. Yeah, for
the
sure.
cost is
But
insane.
you gotta get resourceful in the beginning, and I just knew that and also here's another thing. If you don't know where to start by you have friends on people on social media, start by posting. Some people don't post at all. Share things, you don't have to share your life. You can still be pretty private. Um, and So just post, remind people that you provide these services consistently. You can't just post once and then like
It didn't work.
Yeah.
yeah, like every once in a while, I'll still take my straight up like right hooks where it's a giant ask where it's like, hey guys, hit me up for insurance. Like that'll be
Right.
the only thing I post on Facebook or whatever. Is hey guys, hit me up for a quote, hit me up for a quote, hit me up for a quote. Um, and then engage with people, like support, like wish people happy birthdays, like genuine comments, like if you're out
Mhm.
golfing them, and I don't even know about golf, but I'll say, Kevin, how did you score? Even though I don't even know how like the score really works, but I don't know, like I'm just gonna say like that's awesome, like
Right.
120. Nice
No.
job.
but people, if you just engage with people, then
Yeah.
they'll engage with you back, and people are paying attention to you whether you think they are or not. Um, they're watching.
Well, you
Try to stay
think
away from politics too.
Yeah.
the thing too, you take a small office, right? You got the agent and 3 staff, and typically they say everyone their funeral and their wedding you get 250, right? So they've got at least 250. So you tag all 3. Now all of a sudden, one post goes to 1,000 people, like 1,000. You could just get a 1% return, and you've got 10 quotes.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of
yeah.
power. You can't deny it. And you've done such a great job. So any other tips, by the way, because you seem to be for sure like leading the charge in social media and insurance, for those that are new, maybe they're just getting started. Um,
Yeah.
anything else in particular?
I think those two things, just documenting the process, be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, just not negative. It's
Yeah.
okay to say last month was a challenging month. Um, it's okay to, it's people, like I went to a mastermind, and one of the things was to think of like a shadow word, and um, then it's okay to be vulnerable. And then I went ahead and did that, and the engagement was crazy. Like everyone was like, wow, like I totally feel you there, Nick. And
Yeah.
if you can go down my feed, you'll probably find that post. But it's okay to do that. People want to know that you're real. Um, I would say the other thing is just goodness, just you have to build a brand. I just I I think it's so powerful because with a brand you can go into any other industry once you have a
Yeah.
brand. Kevin built a brand, and now he's crushing it in other industries. And so it's not just, don't think so short term where it's just for your agency.
Right.
um, it can spill over into any other industry, and I encourage my team to do the same, because I'm giving them that vision of, hey, Lord knows what you're going to be doing after insurance, or maybe you open up your own agency. It's all relative, but social media is not going anywhere. And I really
Mm-mm.
do think that people that have influence and a brand are, you know, um, gonna win. And it's not all, playing devil's advocate. You don't need a social media brand to run a successful agency. Like, let's get that clear. 70% of my business, 65% still comes from strong outbound processes, telemarketers, buying internet leads and sales training and all
Yeah.
this stuff, right? But a brand is going to make it so much easier
Yeah.
to build
Cool.
partnerships, to find staff, uh, to have an awesome online presence. It just helps your agency in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm. As far as if we could touch on, maybe training your staff and, maybe what are the things that you really key in on in your sales process that are helpful and important to your success that maybe others can glean from?
Man, I have been the biggest sponge, and just I've networked so much to find processes that others are doing, and I'm a giant uh, copy machine, I guess, when
That's
it comes
awesome,
to
though.
learning from all
Yeah.
the greats of our industry. Like um, our sales process. I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just accountability. is making sure your team is quoting enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, that whole the triangle pyramid, my team, it's just, there's a big accountability that, you're either going to write 30 items a month minimum, or you're just not going to have a seat in this office. Um, and if the and it's okay to fall off. Like, if you fall off, that's fine. You just need to rebound the following month. But as
Sure.
long as the activities are strong, like the quoting volume, the quoted household, if you're quoting at least 8 households a day, 8 to 10, um, and your talk time's there and your phone calls are there, like,
Yeah.
I'm just a giant copy machine. There's so many other people that have, crushed this, but we hold ourselves accountable to that in a big way. And if the activities are happening and the results aren't, then it's a huge training opportunity. We got to listen to their calls and figure
Mm-hmm.
out, maybe they're sucking with their energy and their tonality, or maybe they're just not building any rapport and they're just order taking, and then they're just presenting a price.
Right.
Um, or maybe they're not even asking for the sale. Maybe they're just like, so
Yeah.
Kevin, it's going to be, and right now in Nevada, we're doing 50 to 66% down for the auto. So
Ooh.
it's fun, but we're still crushing it. And so, Kevin, it's going to be $1,278 to get the policy started. And then they don't even like
Right.
go
So
like present what happens
which card do
next.
you want to use?
You know? So
But they
sometimes they're
want,
not even
yeah,
asking for the sale. And so there's just so many like things that, if the activities are happening, the
yeah,
results aren't, then you need to dive into those phone calls and then really spend some time with your producers to find out what the heck happened.
yeah. That's really good. I
So,
mean, just blocking and tackling of insurance, right? I mean, if they're not hitting the numbers and you're doing enough quotes, then we got to listen. And that takes time. A lot of agents don't want to invest that time. They just say, come on, just get better. But, you can really help them, with their sales process by finding out. Because in the things you hit on were like so dead on to what people typically miss. Those are like the big ones for sure. That's
yeah.
good.
No, even your top producers.
Yeah.
Your top producers. Like, I have one of my top guys, like, it was just a conversation we had 2 months ago, and I'm just like, or my ops manager brought it to me. He's like, yeah, I figured out what his problem is. He's like, he's not even asking for the sale. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
my top guy? He's like,
Right.
like my top dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. To me,
yeah,
I'm just a big tone. Tonality is just, I mean, building value in tone. And
And
you're
telling
saying
stories.
something great, that can really help you to the sale. And if you don't deliver it in a different tonality, you don't have to be crazy like a car salesperson, crazy. The old time. It's not that way really today, I bet. But if you have that tone, you have to have some inflection and pauses and stop and draw them in, is to me is just massive. Because it's like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm with the Sakha agency, and we're one of the fastest growing in Nevada, and you should join our insurance agency too. And it's like, what? Like, come on, get a little excited about that.
Sign up
yeah,
today.
Yeah.
So document the entire process, build a brand, and be a giant copy machine. I have some of these things written down. As a new agent, these are some key things that you would give advice to for new agents.
yeah. I mean, goodness, like, just network, like, go to these events and connect with people, talk to the vendors.
Yeah.
Um, talk to the vendors. You never know when like something can help you with your agency. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I deal like, if I don't spark that conversation with Kevin, I'm probably still not using you guys, and realizing like, dang, ideal traits is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So just uh it
That's
helps too when you have a brand. I could say that it also helps you with getting transfer ins, right, from different states, because I have somebody moving to Nevada.
That's true. I see this
They
guy all
pop.
over. He's the one
yeah.
guy I know. Right.
Right.
You just
It's
popped up on
just
his news feed. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Really cool.
just
I didn't think
that.
about that.
And then also when you have influence, like, I do think you do get a little bit more preferable treatment from vendors, um, because they want you to say good things about them.
Mm-hmm. It's
Well,
interesting you say that
Yeah.
because, obviously, I was a speaker as an agent, and I would get, lots of questions and I'd have lots of answers. But yet the vendors themselves are they're so dialed into that one topic, right? So as an insurance agent, there's 20 things, we'll just call it 20 buckets of information you can get into, and you're in those 20 throughout the week and throughout the month. But that vendor lives in that one bucket, and it's not just my experience in that bucket, but it's all of the agents that are in there too. So you have so much more information, So depending on the topic, I think it's wise that you said that. And most agents wouldn't say that. Like, yeah, talk to vendors.
I haven't really heard that.
Right.
Yeah.
and I say that because, so after I became an agent,
Yeah.
after I sold my book, and then going to different events that weren't Allstate, and it's like, well, I can speak too, right? And I raise my hand. They're like, well, you're a vendor. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but
I was
I
number one
really
in the
know about the
country for a
topic. Like, I
brand.
know about
Yeah.
this topic, and I can help on this hiring topic in insurance agencies. Like, hey, okay, yeah, we'll let you know. So a point being is, yeah, I mean, you can gain so much from vendors, but good
Yeah.
stuff.
From everybody.
Yeah.
From everybody.
I think the
yes.
point is like just be approachable and go up. You never know the connection you're going to make. And with vendors particularly, there's a barrier, especially probably as a newer agent, because you don't want to spend so much money, but they're not treating it as an investment or just a conversation. Like, just go talk to them. You don't have to buy anything necessarily.
Right.
So, some of the lead vendors are a little annoying, but anyway.
Well, hey, we want to be respectful of your time, but I do want to ask you, where's the Sakha agency going? Yeah, you shared some news before we got on, and I thought it was really cool, the direction you're going with social media, and you're so far ahead of 97% of the agencies out there, and yet you just say it's just beginning and you're ramping it up. So maybe love to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, so I have a goal of continuing to grow my agency. We're 18 mil. I want to get to 30. I don't know why. I just think 30 is a good number.
You'll get
We get to 30, we'll see where we go from there. But I want to continue, keeping the main thing. I think that's super important. But also, this year is the first year that I built such a good. I've attracted such good and developed like such good leaders in my agency, and I've stepped away. I've delegated a lot of different tasks, and I just feel like I'm in alignment, and things are becoming clear on what I need to do with this with social media. And so, at the time of this recording, I'm really building out a framework and a community, and I guess a path for agents to be more successful with social media.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're going to be launching in 2024. And, it's just going to give really like a blueprint and into what we're doing and to keeping up with all the different changes that social media is constantly going through. And so that will be launching in 2024, but also taking my content to the next level. I have a videographer. I have my my content manager, but I really want to build an in-office team around that. I got this content studio that's almost finished, so I'll be having guests like yourself and other agents from across the country coming to my office and just sharing their wealth of knowledge and promoting and kind of just how their way of adding value to insurance agents. My YouTube channel, you can find me at Nicholas Sakha. My series called A1 Agents. That's where we're going to be filming a lot of that content. Just really, really helping. I think the insurance industry needs so much help with social media.
Yes.
I'm a part of a mortgage mastermind, and they teach mortgage and lenders. I'm the only insurance guy in this mortgage mastermind. It's a pretty awesome idea, by the way.
Probably getting some referrals, I'd imagine.
Massive.
Spent a lot of money to be a
Yeah,
part.
are you kidding me?
That is gold.
Because
right
you're
there.
giving them value for social media, but then it's like they're thinking of who do I send my, people who need insurance to, and
Yeah,
you're
I
top
just
of
wish I was in
mind.
every state.
Heck yeah, right.
Because I'm
And you
limited.
will, I'm sure.
But and just the value that this mastermind is bringing with social media and how they're helping um, another boring industry is something that I really want to do for the insurance industry. And so you're going to see a lot of that come 2024.
Yeah,
The stars haven't been more aligned than they are
Let's
now, and
go.
so yeah,
that's great.
I'm really excited for it.
Well,
So
we're excited for you, and you're gonna kill it. And I think that's so cool because you take something you're passionate about. It doesn't even feel like work, and you're helping people, and they need it. And quite right. I mean, they'll pay for it, and they should, because you can change a lot of numbers in their business. So that's awesome. I'm glad. I didn't know that. I'm glad to hear that.
Nick, 2 dates I have in mind. One in February when the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl. It's going to be in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Okay.
So maybe we'll
yeah.
come for that.
Right.
And May is going to be the Farmers Embrace Conference, which is an awesome conference that our friends put on.
Yeah.
Customers of ours every year. Kevin actually spoke at the last one. That's going to be in May. So maybe those are 2 dates where we're already going to be in Vegas. And we'd love to be on your show because we know you
Yeah.
have some great content.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm really I'm really pumped for it. Sorry, my ops manager left his phone in here, so he's trying to find it. He keeps trying to find it, so it keeps going off. But no, I'd love to have you guys on. This I'm just really happy with everything, and that's kind
Good,
of
man.
that's coming together. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and would love to have you guys on my show.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
that's something too. Um, YouTube's a powerful tool. Um, that's something that is underutilized as well. Um, is putting more out on YouTube, and what that can do is the snowball effect, like no other platform, and
mm-hmm.
that's another big reason why I think I've had a couple of videos go viral with like helping people get licensed for their PNC exam.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I know that's kind
Yeah.
of drifting
That's
off
good.
subject there.
You heard
Well,
it here, guys. Well, Nick, thanks again for joining us. Anyone who would like to, just spice up their social media, get more referrals, build an agency from ground up that's super successful, reach out to Nick, man. He's offering free advice and someone that would be awesome to connect with. Take it from us.
mm-hmm.
Appreciate, again, you having us on the show, and we're excited to see you soon, man.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in February. I hope the
Yeah.
Lions make it too. I really like them, even though
Well,
they beat my Chargers,
we, we didn't book it yet because we're like kind of certain they're not gonna make it, but maybe we
could get
will.
some refundable tickets.
Yeah, we could
for at
just
least
book it for
airliner, yeah.
1,500, and then you can on Ideal Trades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Try-
it's been
Try to book your hotels now.
it's
Yeah.
been awesome. I mean, I love your raw and your candor and your humbleness is great, and your transparency. So thanks for that. It showed me a lot. So I really appreciate the time with you. It's been great.
Yeah. Thank
We'll
you
stay in
guys. Thanks
touch.
for everything. I appreciate it.
And we're gonna help you build your agency too, Jeff. Make sure you get
I'm
all
on
the
it, man.
greatest hires. Let's crush it. Let's
Let's
help
crush it. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
All right, man. Have a good one.
See ya.